welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The 10th meeting of the Federal Executive Council for the year 2021 has ended at the Presidential Villa. The meeting, which is the 39th to be held virtually since the outbreak of COVID-19, was chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari, and physically present at the Executive Council chambers were Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, and National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungunu, and several ministers. The Head of Service of the Federation, Dr. Folashade Yemieson, and other members of the Council participated in the weekly meeting online from their offices across the nation's capital, Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that various memoranda from ministries, departments and agencies of the government are expected to be considered for possible approval as part of sustained efforts at taking Nigeria to the next level of socio-economic development. The news will come in our subsequent bulletins. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says Nigeria's priorities in a post-COVID-19 world include restoring economic growth in the immediate term, building resilience in the health sector, and repositioning the economy on a sustainable footing in the medium term, while saving jobs and building domestic capacity and local production in critical areas. This was during a virtual Chatham House interactive session themed Priorities for Nigeria's Post-COVID Recovery. The Vice President discussed the challenges posed to Nigeria by the global COVID-19 pandemic and the Nigerian government's response aimed at ensuring lasting socio-economic recovery and development. As Vice President Osinbajo further explained, the federal government was also focused on promoting a culture of preparedness across all levels of the country's healthcare system by building resilience in the health sector and recovery efforts. Vice President Osinbajo also said Nigeria has taken delivery of about 4 million doses of the COVID-19 vaccines under the international COVAX scheme and has commenced vaccination of Nigerians. Laolu Akonde, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, in a press release stated that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo also called for global action in ensuring access to vaccines. Moving on now, ECOWAS Parliament has encouraged citizens in the region to embrace vaccination against the dreaded coronavirus to make the region safe for cross-border businesses. Onengiye Fineface reports on this and mechanisms for implementing community levy to fund ECOWAS budgets, which was the focus at a parliamentary seminar holding in Sierra Leone.
ECOWAS, as our regional community, is determined to bridge all gaps impeding free movement of persons, goods and services. But the COVID-19 pandemic has continued to pose a threat to this pursuit. Vaccination against the virus is therefore a necessary step that member states must embrace.
Today, we have several vaccines whose doses have been administered with remarkable success to the populations.
This came up at the opening of our parliamentary seminar ongoing in Freetown, Sierra Leone, aimed at involving members of the ECOWAS Parliament in the monitoring and implementation of the protocol relating to the community levy, which constitutes the major source of financing for the budget of ECOWAS.
We are witnessing a low mobilization of the said resources, which has been around 30% of forecast over the past 3 years. In addition, the import receipts on which the community levy is based have also been due to the impact of the health crisis on the global economy.
Discussions at the seminar will define an intervention framework to encourage member states to make contributions to the community levy. Onengiye Fineface, NT News.
Longest-serving president of the Republic of Congo, Denis Sassou Nguesso, is set for another 5-year term, just as Tanzanians continue to mourn late President John Magufuli. Uche Ogochukwu reports.
Ainsi est élu président de la The Republic of Congo's Interior Minister Raymond Zefiri Mumbolo said in a national address that Sassou Nguesso secured just more than 88% of the vote in Sunday's election, extending his 36 years tenure as the leader of the Central African nation. His main rival, Gay Bryce Colelas, who died as people were going to the poll, was a distant second, receiving less than 8% of the votes. The remaining votes were split between 5 other candidates. A spokesman for Colela's campaign said the 61-year-old died of COVID-19 as he was being evacuated from Brazzaville to France for treatments. And family members, international and invited guests have continued to pay their last respects to late 61-year-old Tanzanian President John Magufuli. Flags have been flying at half-mast since the country began a 14-day mourning period after the then Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan announced Magufuli's death following a heart condition in a hospital in Dar es Salaam. Magufuli's body has been moved to his Chato town from the church where it has been lying in state. He will be buried Thursday, March 25. In the meantime, the official portrait of the new president of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, has been released. President Samia Suluhu Hassan was sworn in last week as the 6th leader of Tanzania after her successor, John Magufuli, died from heart complications. She will complete late Magufuli's 5-year term. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Let's move on to legislative matters. The Senate has confirmed the appointment of Haliru Nababa as Controller General of Nigeria Correctional Service. The confirmation is sequel to the consideration of the screening report by the Senate Committee on Interior, which described the nominee as suitable for the position. Haliru Nababa replaces Jafaru Ahmed, who retired from the service. Meanwhile, Senate has passed the National Agriculture Development Fund Establishment Bill, which seeks to provide sustainable funding for agricultural research and development. The fund is also expected to ensure food security, facilitate agricultural extension and the establishment of agricultural clusters and processing zones. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Bello, has presented the 2021 statutory appropriation of 209.9 billion naira before the Senate Committee on the FCT. Dayo Ogunshola reports.
The statutory appropriation of 299.9 billion naira by the Minister of FCT is premised on distributable revenue of 215 billion naira and non-distributable revenue of 84 billion naira. 45.4% of the budget is for recurrent expenditure, while the projected capital expenditure is put at 54.56%.
When we compare the current budget that we are presenting to the distinguished committee in relation to what we presented in 2020, there is an increase of 100 billion, or rather 101 billion, representing 34%.
Members of the Senate Committee on FCT made preliminary observations on how to make the proposal a realistic one.
The committee will remain steadfast in the task of conducting oversight to foster service delivery to the residents of FCT by ensuring the full implementation of this budget.
The Committee on FCT urged the authority of the Federal Capital Territory to ensure that the 2022 proposal is forwarded not later than September from the National Assembly. Dayo Ogunshola, NTA News.
Still on legislative matters, the House of Representatives seeks amendments to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commissions Act to make provisions for restructuring of the EFCC. The amendment bill, which passed second reading, seeks provision of a time frame within which a person appointed as the acting executive chairman of the commission could occupy the office in an acting capacity, inclusion of members of independent organizations to form membership of the Commission, and the establishment of Operations Review Committee and Witness Protection Unit in the EFCC. The bill also seeks to make provision for the Commission to retain a percentage of recovered loot to fund its operations. The bill was referred to House Committee on Financial Crimes for further legislative action. Away from legislative matters, the clock is ticking is the theme for the 2021 World Tuberculosis Day. It is aimed at conveying the fact that the world is running out of time to act on the commitment made by world leaders to end TB by December 2022. Experts say this is especially critical in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has put TB and other diseases progress at risk. In this report, Basi Ita Ipang captures the essence of the yearly commemoration of the day.
Tuberculosis is said to be one of the world's deadliest infectious killer diseases, as WHO report shows that globally, an estimated 4,000 people lost their lives to tuberculosis daily. Nigeria is ranked first in Africa and sixth globally in the 2020 WHO TB reports of high TB burden countries in the world. Tuberculosis Day is therefore aimed at raising public awareness about the devastating health, social and economic consequences of TB. The day is also aimed at stepping up efforts to end the global TB epidemic.
Low TB case detection remain a major challenge in the TB control efforts in Nigeria, with the country only detecting 27% of the estimated incidence TB cases.
Engagement plan, we have now scaled up to all states. This has demonstrated incremental value to TB notification from 12% private sector contribution in 2018 to as high as 45% in some states.
TB is said to be airborne, with babies at higher chance of being infected because their body defenses are not strong. It affects several parts of the body, with symptoms ranging from coughing for more than 2 weeks to weight loss.
When you find changes in your body, especially coughing for more than 2 weeks, please, I advise you go for TB test. The test is free of charge. The treatment is free of charge. Nobody will collect anything from you to treat you from TB.
The deadly disease experts say is preventable, treatable, and curable only if detected early. Basi Taipang, NTA News.
Thanks, Basi. And back here in the studio, joining me to talk more about the 2021 World Tuberculosis Day is the National Coordinator, Tuberculosis Leprosy Control Program in the Federal Ministry of Health, Dr. Chukwuma Anyaike. You're welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you.
Let's take it off from Basi's report that I saw earlier. There is a commitment to end tuberculosis by the year 2022 December. Is it feasible?
It's not feasible, but we are making significant progress in Nigeria.
As we mark this day to create awareness, is there any positive of the day vis-a-vis the number of infected persons in the country?
Yeah, last 2 years, we were able to notify 122,000 TB cases. But even with the effect of COVID-19, we were able to notify 38,000 TB cases in the country. So that means that our efforts are yielding, and we're hoping to scale it up from that number this year.
Let's go deeper. How aware are Nigerians about the preventive methods of tuberculosis?
It's one of the challenges we have, because the data shows that 2/3 of Nigerians do not even, have that awareness that, we have a problem on our hands. That's the burden of tuberculosis and the preventive measures. So that's why we came up with the slogan this year to say, that cough that has lasted for 2 weeks, check them. It could be tuberculosis and not COVID, because we realized that people were not even showing up in the hospitals and healthcare centers for screening, and which is the best thing to do, to go get yourself screened. If you are confirmed tuberculosis positive, we start treatment, which It's curable if you, keep according to the treatment protocols. In the given time of 6 months, you should be able to be free, and then you stop, the propagation and transferring of the bacterial infection to the next person around you.
Having said this, let's talk about TB in children and differentiating between the symptoms of tuberculosis and COVID-19, which seem to be similar. Let's talk about it.
Yes, children, especially, not just for tuberculosis, you notice that in children, the first thing you notice is excessive crying, showing that something is wrong. And the next is fever, and the baby refuses to eat, to suck, or to eat. And then you notice poor feeding, failure to thrive, and others. Failure to thrive underlined. So when you have such a child, the best thing to do is to go for screening. And then we've been able to find out, because initially we are having issues with, drug treatment, but now we've been able to fashion a way of making it suitable for the children. We've been able to compound it. Now, before you grind the tablets and mix it in water and they drink, but now we have come up with a measure that makes it easier and more accessible to them to drink. And then,
at the moment, how accessible is the treatment for tuberculosis in Nigeria?
Tuberculosis is very accessible. The problem we have is that our health-seeking behavior is not optimal. And so that is why we're coming up with this awareness to say that if you have tuberculosis, come for treatment. Treatment is free. And we are making efforts to ensure that we expand, the directly observed treatment shortcut centers in the country. Far back in 2012, we had just 32 dot centers. But I can tell you that by the end of last year, we have 17,699 dot centers. But that does not mean that we've gotten to where we want to be, because Nigeria is so large. So we are hoping that, in due course, we increase the number of dot centers. We have also scaled down, because we know that part of the problem is stigmatization and discrimination. So we've even involved the community, people, the civil society in the communities, who will now help and ensure that those people take their drug. The underlying word is taking your drug in a way that was prescribed. If you lose the treatment for one day or thereabout, then you are making it impossible for you to be cured. And that means you come up with resistance strain of that, and that is one of the problems we have at the moment.
Well, we'd like to thank you for creating time to come on Nationwide and talk about the 2021 World Tuberculosis Day. It's been a good outing with you here on Nationwide.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Now, I've been conversing with Dr. Chukwuma Anyaike, the Director, National Coordinator for the National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program in the Federal Ministry of Health. It's time to pause for some messages on Nationwide. When we return, it shall be time to cross over to our Lagos Network Center, where Jennifer is standing by. Stay tuned.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher I fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher I fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for Last Gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi, we know happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I talk with that now.
Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio. Teacher,
Contemporary times require practical skills to remain competitive and relevant in your organization. Therefore, take advantage of NTA TV College short proficiency courses to sharpen your professional skills. Basic Broadcast Accounting and Auditing. Date 19th April to 30th April 2021. 2 weeks. Audio Engineering, Operations and Maintenance. Date 19th April to 23rd April 2021. 1 week. Protocol, Event Management and Public Relations. Date 3rd May to 14th May 2021. 2 weeks. Intermediate Camera Operation Techniques. Date 17th May to 11th June 2021. 4 weeks. The course fee for the 4-week course is 100,000 naira per participant. The fee for the 2-week course is 80,000 naira, while the course fee for the 1-week course is 40,000 naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue for all the courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College, Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Back. Now, very soon, Lagos residents who receive television signals via the terrestrial source will no longer be able to do so. This is because content providers and signal distributors are going to switch from analog to digital transmission. Acting Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, said this while commending Integrated Television Services, ITS, and StarTimes for their level of preparedness ahead of the April 29 switchover date for Lagos, Kano, and River States. Iyabo Waleri has details.
The transition from analog to digital broadcasting practically began in 2016 with the pilot rolled out in Jos, the Plateau State capital. This is the second phase few years after, under which Lagos, Port Harcourt, and other cities will be switched on to digital television. It is in furtherance of this objective that the NBC Acting Director General, Professor Armstrong Idachaba, visited Lagos to inspect digital equipment on ground at the NTA ETV premises. Areas inspected include the monitoring, server, and transmitter rooms. The NBC DG expressed satisfaction on the complementary role of StarTimes towards ensuring the rollout happens in Lagos and other cities in Nigeria soon.
At the NTA premises to see just how ready IDS, which is created out of NTA, is ready for the process. I've seen some of their equipment. They are very modern. They are up to specification. DVB-T2 technology, which is the standard everywhere. I've seen that they have the capacity to generate even much more than the required number of channels for the Lagos area. So I'm very encouraged by that.
Alex Zhang is the acting chief executive officer of StarTimes, a partner in the process.
DD has a big strategy for the DSO, and NTA StarTimes will cooperate very well with ITS and support this project.
NBC prospects the country will complete the digital rollout by 2022. In Lagos, Iyabo Wale Eri, NTA News.
That's placing the right premium on products to drive economic growth and be at par with other imported goods relies solely on adherence to standards. While concerned authorities are not leaving anything to chance as regards enforcement, how can value chain impact Nigeria's vast market? Abolade Salami reports.
Developed and developing economies thrive
on the sustainability and value of standard products produced in line with best practices. Nigeria, as an emerging economy with a population growth of 3% and a GDP growth rate of 0.11% year-on-year in fourth quarter of 2020, is Africa's largest market for investment and business development. The huge opportunity created by the vast market space and commercial window for the promotion of standard products has facilitated the introduction of various policies and guidelines by the regulatory body Standards Organization of Nigeria to regulate the market of substandard products.
Even if such a product is even selling at a much higher price, because a standard product inspires a lot more confidence among the consumers. I think it is something that is very good for any business and for the entire economy.
Against the erroneous claims that Nigeria's market in terms of standard products is not competing favorably with imported items, SON, through its stakeholders' engagements on compulsory adherence to standards, has changed the narrative.
Quality and excellence are not compromised at any point in time. For every product to go out of Nigeria, they must comply with the mandatory conformity assessment program that is being organized by Standard Organization of Nigeria.
Experts submit that the huge financial benefits in the value chain can be sourced for private and national development if key players adhere to standardized products. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
For more on the news, I hand it back to Ayo DJ in Abuja. Ayo, back to you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Back here in Abuja, it is an established fact that implementation of government policies and programs are, most cases, dependent on the level of public awareness. It is in view of this that the National Orientation Agency and partners are holding a 3-day workshop for selected persons from ministries, departments, and agencies of government. Kenneth Nanim reports.
These are personnel from the planning, research and development, monitoring and evaluation, as well as the media department of various ministry departments and agencies of government. They are sharing ideas on how best to create leakages for enhancing the impact of government policies on national development.
There is a need for all the agencies, the heads, particularly of monitoring and evaluation, and the various departments, the heads to come together so that they'll all be speaking with one voice. And the more you speak with one voice, the more people listen to you.
Government is here to serve the people. Government, when they come out with the policy programs and activities, is to enhance the welfare of the citizens. So, but when people are not aware of the benefits of these programs, so that is, you see them kicking against some of the programs, even though it is meant to enhance their welfare.
Because anytime government makes a statement, there are reactions in different quarters. Most of the time, those reactions don't get back to government.
Keynote speaker and former Army spokesperson, Brigadier General Kukasheka Usman, and other speakers harped on collaboration between agencies and citizens' engagement as key to achieving impactful policies for development, as well as utilize the Freedom of Information Act to monitor and evaluate implementation.
With this understanding, with this synergy, people will be more informed and they can be able to, come out with proper processes of policy formulation and implementation to make the needful impact, on the society.
It is expected that at the end of this 3-day workshop, the participants would have identified the existing gaps between government policies and the people, with a view to bridging such gaps through orientation and feedback mechanism for national development. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Now, let's join Asmau in the seat of Caliphate, Sokoto, for more on Nationwide. Hello, Asmau.
Ayodeji, good evening and welcome to Sokoto. The Kebbi State Command of the Nigerian Police Force has received security vehicles comprising of 10 Hilux vans and 30 Boxers motorcycles from Kebbi State government. Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, who made the presentation of the vehicles in Birnin Kebbi, said government will do everything possible to ensure people in the state sleep with their eye closed. Usman Abdullahi Shehu reports.
Presenting the 10 Toyota Hilux vans and 30 Boxers motorcycle to the Kebbi State Police Command, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu said the move was informed by some disturbing trends of insecurity such as banditry, kidnapping and cattle rustling, among other criminal activities in the northwest of the country, of which Kebbi State is not spared. The governor, who was represented by his special advisor on security, Major Garba Rabiu Kamba retired, expressed hope that the vehicles will facilitate their operations.
Provide mobility for these newly deployed officers and men so as to facilitate their operations.
Governor Bagudu appealed to the people of the state to play their part by offering reliable information to security agencies for prompt intervention. The Commissioner of Police, Kebbi State Command, Mr. Adeleke Bode Adeyinka, who commended the state government for the gesture, appealed to the local vigilante groups to work together with the Nigerian police to ensure peace in the state.
If we work together, we will not quarrel. And to warn the criminals that are coming in from Zamfara, that we are ready for them. I will not allow them to get.
It will be recalled that Kebbi State government recently donated some vehicles to the 1 Battalion of Nigerian Army Duku Barracks, Birnin Kebbi, for similar security gesture. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar has called on Nigerians to bury tribal and ethnic differences, love one another and be peaceful for better understanding and harmony in the country. He was speaking when he received the Oba of Iwo Land in Osun State, Dr. Abdurrashid Adewale Akambi, on a courtesy call at his palace. Sheikh Muhammad Detti completes the report.
The Sultan said Almighty God created Nigerians of different tribes, hence the need for all to respect one another. The monarch described the visit by Oba of Iwo Land as historic and significant as it cements the existing cordial relationship between the Sultanate and Iwo Land.
So let people stop attaching ethnicity, religion to criminals or criminal activities. Let authorities rise up to the occasion, provide security for all of us, for us to move from here to anywhere we want to peacefully, sleep with our eyes closed peacefully.
The Oba of Iwo Land, Dr. Abdurrashid Adewale Akambi, said he was at the palace to express appreciation with the leadership style and qualities of the Sultan. He prayed Allah to give the Sultan wisdom to discharge his responsibility effectively. Meanwhile, the Oba and his entourage paid a visit to Waziri Junior History and Culture Bureau. They were received and conducted around various sections by the Director General of the Bureau, Bala Muhammad Mabira.
And that's where our strength lies. Nigeria can never, and I repeat, will never, is inseparable, it cannot be divided, it stays at one.
The Oba also visited the tomb of Sheikh Usman bin Fodio at the Hubar in Sokoto. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that is our package from Sokoto. The news will continue in Kaduna right after these messages. Please stay tuned.
Bunch of broomsticks symbolize immense strength in unity of numbers. APC, unarguably the largest political party this side of sub-Saharan Africa, strategically chose the broom to convey all that the party stands for. Unity, strength and diversity. In the APC, everyone matters. President Muhammadu Buhari are making giant strides in the areas of infrastructure, such as railways, road networks, strategic bridges, more schools, hospitals, provision of funding for agriculture and SMEs. No administration has made so much investment in youth, women, and people living with disabilities. Take a stand today. Welcome to the APC.
This message is sponsored by the caretaker chairman of the All Progressive Congress and the executive governor of Yobe State, Alhaji Mai Malabuni.
This vaccine is safe and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFTA.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HiFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on MTN Network.
The health sector for effective service delivery is a task that the Buhari administration is set to achieve. This resonates at the inauguration of an ultra-modern magnetic resonance imaging machine, MRI, at the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital, Zaria, by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed. Mudassir Ali reports.
The Tesla MRI ultra-modern machine, which is the first of its kind in Nigeria, is designed to provide better access and more efficient body examination and diagnosis. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, says the provision of MRI machine to Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital Zaria is one of the several projects designed by federal government to enhance healthcare services across the country.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic started, the President has instructed that all the tertiary hospitals in the country be provided. So hospitals are being equipped. Each hospital has an isolation center, and most recently, each hospital is going to be having either rehabilitated its oxygen plant or new oxygen plants being put in place.
1.5 Tesla MRI machine, which is the best and the first in the entire sub-region. Emir of Zazzau, Malam Ahmed Nubamali, applauded the federal government's efforts toward repositioning healthcare sector.
On behalf of the community, the people of Zaria, I believe this is a big relief, to everybody.
Representative of Health Minister, Kaduna State Governor, and other stakeholders advised the institution to make judicious use of the facility. In Zaria, Mudassir Aliyu, NTN News.
The National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has trained 180 people living with HIV and AIDS in Jigawa State on 6 income-generating traits to help them live a fulfilled life. The Director General of the agency, Dr. Gambo Aliyu, while presenting starter kits to the beneficiaries in Gumel, advised people against stigmatizing the HIV and AIDS patients. Awal Mohammed Kazauri reports.
The beneficiaries drawn from all the 27 local government areas of the state were trained in building and construction, barbing, confectionaries, hairdressing, among other skills. Presiding over the presentation of the Starter Packs, Director General of the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Gamba Aliyu, said HIV patients should not be discouraged but find ways to belong in the society through fighting poverty, economic empowerment, and feel secured like any other individual.
HIV is a disease that cuts across areas that are important to look at, especially the poverty issue. It's a socio-economic issue. It's a disease that has link with security. It's a disease that has link with socio-cultural setting, and also it's a disease that has link to our health facilities nationwide. So we're doing good with the health facilities. We also think that it is important we look at this perspective and we get help from the community so that together we can collectively fight HIV.
The Emir of Gumal Alhaji Ahmad Muhammad Sani had, while hosting the Director General NACA at his palace, commended the federal government for various interventions like NACA to support the vulnerable persons in the society. Awal Muhammad Kazaure, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Abuja with IUDG.
Thank you very much. And back in Abuja again, establishing bilateral relationships is one of the key mandates of the federal government aimed at boosting Nigeria's external image. Today, one of such partnerships has been celebrated, a decade of enhanced synergy between the Nigerian government and that of Switzerland. Abdulmalik Hassan reports.
A decade ago, Nigeria and the Swiss government signed a memorandum of understanding on migration policies to reflect on opportunities and challenges of migration between the two nationals. 10 years after, this gathering is focusing to harness the successes recorded while buttressing impending issues like irregular migration and human trafficking, among others.
Additionally, over the past 10 years, we implemented more than 50 projects. These projects aim to improve migration management mechanism, fighting human trafficking or addressing root causes for irregular migration, among others.
Due to our collective determination and respect for the principle of reciprocity, we have agreed to deepen and expand dialogue and cooperation in the field of migration. These will eventually lead us to identify opportunities and problems and seek constructive solutions into matters of global migration.
I'm particularly pleased because of the uniqueness of this decade-long exemplary relationship between Nigeria and Switzerland. Exemplary because it is built on mutual trust, respect, progress, and openness.
Experts see the clampdown on human trafficking and other migration challenges as catalysts to successes. The Swiss government has also commenced a Blue Bus exhibition to create awareness among different communities in Nigeria on the dangers of human trafficking. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Hassan, NTA News.
Doris in our Port Harcourt Network Center will bring us the next set of reports on Nationwide. Good evening, Doris.
Good evening, Deji. Welcome to Port Harcourt. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has tasked the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Attahiru Ibrahim, to work assiduously and make a difference in the fight against the insecurity to regain the respect of the Nigerian Army. The governor gave the advice when he played host to the Chief of Army Staff, Attahiru Ibrahim. Oge Diyekwe reports.
Topmost on the agenda for discourse during the meeting was the urgent need to address squarely the security challenges the nation is currently being confronted with. Governor Wike charged the new army chief to make a difference and ensure that his topmost priority is to exhibit his duty with the highest sense of responsibility.
God will help you to make a change in Nigerian army. Whatever you need in terms of making your job easy, we are ready to do it. I'm ready to champion it.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Attahiru Ibrahim, says he is in the state as part of his maiden operational visit to the formation under the 6th Division Nigerian Army. He lauded the efforts of the governor for providing peace and security, which has translated into economic development of the state.
Let me also appreciate His Excellency for his unrelenting support to 6th Division Nigerian Army, particularly in areas of logistics. I also thank you for your continued non-tolerance approach against separatist groups.
The new army chief also commended the governor's continued efforts in promoting peaceful coexistence among the various groups that live and do business in the state. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinye Ekwere, NTA News.
Victim Support Fund has commenced inauguration of projects in selected secondary schools in Bayelsa State. Governor Doye, who played host to members of the team, said the projects are timely. Fred Owefe has details.
Governor Doye Diri remarked that with agencies like Victim Support Fund bringing succor to Nigerians, agitations against inequality and injustice will be reduced. Governor Diri urged Victim Support Fund not to relent in providing basic amenities to people of the country while appealing for more infrastructural support for the states. He commended former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan for setting up the Victim Support Fund and expressed delight for the sustenance of the scheme to meet the needs of Nigerians.
It takes commitment and for you to travel around Nigeria, not minding our bad roads, not minding the risk that you are taking. We appreciate what you have done in Bayelsa.
Chairperson of the COVID-19 Task Force of the Victim Support Fund, Mrs. Toyosi Akerele Ogunsiji, said they were in the state to inaugurate 3 borehole projects in Community Secondary School Sagbama, Community Secondary School Otweke, and Kayama High School. The 3 beneficiary schools will also receive other sanitation consumables.
Our simple mandate is to go around states, 54 secondary schools in 18 states of the country to provide more enduring support, specifically sanitation facilities.
The chairperson appreciated the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Pabara Igwele, for his support to the team. From Government House, Fred Owefe, NTA News.
That's our beats from Port Harcourt. Deji is back to you.
All right, Doris, thank you. The chairman of the All Progressives Congress Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Committee and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Mala Buni, has dissociated himself from the allegation that some Supreme Court justices met with members of the PDP or any political party on any matter. In a statement by his Director General Press and Media Affairs, Maman Mohammed, Governor Mai Mala Buni says he is conscious of the positions of the justices of the Supreme Court occupy and would not be a party or associated to such reckless statements against their lordships. The statement adds that as leader of APC, Governor Buni is saddened by such weighty allegation said to be emanating from the party, obviously without his consent. The APC caretaker chairman, on behalf of members, distances the party from the allegation and regrets the injury and hard feelings the allegation might have caused their lordships, and assured that the party will do the needful to uncover those behind such accusation. As part of efforts to ensure reconciliation, resettlement and reintegration of affected communities by insurgency in the Northeast region, stakeholders are advocating for community inclusion and peace building for sustainable growth in the country. Ruth Aguele reports that this was at a 2-day symposium organized by the Center for Humanitarian Dialogue.
Social dialogue has always been a tool in solving problems globally. Key players at this symposium are charting a way forward through dialogue to address challenges faced by communities in the Northeast region as a result of insurgency. The need to protect the rights of women and children to be given due consideration were part of concerns for the Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talon, who was represented.
This kind of symposium is supposed to be nationwide. It's not supposed to be centered to only Northeast, because women and children are the most affected.
The prize for peace is priceless, and the call for unity, irrespective of religious affiliations, was strongly echoed.
Our young men and women, children, are taught to hate those of different faiths. As a Nigerian, it worries me. And I always ask myself, how and where did we get it wrong? So my appeal is, while considering the issue of insurgency in the Northeast, we should also give a thought to these questions. Why do we have such religious and ethnic conflicts in Nigeria?
We believe that together we can make very firm strides in supporting this aspect of communication, which is so key.
To ensure sustainable reintegration in the Northeast region, experts believe engaging communities through inclusion processes will have a strong influence on nation building. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
The 11-member of Independent Investigative Panel on allegations of human rights violations by the defunct SARS, led by its chairman, Justice Suleiman Galadima, has asked for cooperation of all stakeholders in obtaining justice for victims of police brutality, especially the Nigerian police. Justice Galadima made the appeal while reiterating on the order issued for non-appearance of police respondents before the panel over alleged disappearance of some victims. Judiciary correspondent Vera Chinwuba has more.
Evidence by the police counsel James Idachaba, DSP Mela Isaac told the panel that the late Ifeoma Abugu was arrested in the house of one of the suspects, Casey Afamefuna, in September last year with large quantities of cocaine and Indian hemp. He said she suddenly developed a strange behavior and she was rushed to Maitama Hospital where she was confirmed dead. Not satisfied with the confirmation, he took her to Gwagwalada Hospital where an autopsy was conducted to ascertain the cause of death. Collaborating the evidence of Mela, Ibe Eko of Escort Section of CID FCT Command Abuja, who investigated the death, told the panel that the police team and the family members visited Gwagwalada Hospital, the residence of the deceased, and also recorded an eyewitness account as given by one Amarachuku who witnessed the arrest, while Dr. Abimaku of Gwagwalada Hospital performed the autopsy.
When the autopsy came out, Dr. B.A. Abemiku put the cause of death of the disease to be as anosmia.
The chairman of the panel, Justice Suleiman Galadima, asked the police counsel to furnish the panel with all statements of witnesses. In addition, obtain the case file from the Ministry of Justice, which the police counsel, James Idachaba, said is currently waiting for DPP's advice. The chairman of the panel reiterated orders issued in respect of DCB Abakiari.
The orders were made on the 24th February 2021 to produce or explain the whereabouts of Mr. Maurice Festa Eshwe by DCP Abakiari still subsist.
Police counsel James Idachaba from the panel that attempt to get DCP Abakiari has not yielded result, as he was told that he is currently on a special assignment outside Abuja. In Abuja, Vera Chinwuba, NTA News.
And now sports. Super Eagles intensify training ahead of AFCON qualifier against Squirrels of Benin Republic. Details on sports updates.